Hello and welcome to this episode of Bullseye. Even though Bullseye is a weekly take on issues of significance where I deep dive, but in this particular week, there are developments that took place which led to the need for one more Bullseye. And I'm speaking about the victory of Prashant Kishore in Bihar, in Bankipur, and another victory of the Congress in Datia. And now you would wonder, why is this so important for a place like Goa? And this is all about why this is important for Goa and why political leaders in Goa, regional satraps of Valpoi, of Calangute, of Panjim, Taleigao, Cuncolim, and all these places. It is a message that goes out to these kind of regional satraps all across Goa, Vishwajit Rane, Michael Lobo, Babush Monserrate, and even Yuri Alemao. And the message is very clear that Goa has in the past defeated, ousted, and sent people who thought they could not be defeated home. And the PK effect and the Datia effect is a lesson that India is changing. And Goa very much is a part of this country. The sentiments that affect the youth in all over India is the same that affect the youth all over Goa. And this aura that these politicians had, that we could not be defeated, and the manner in which Prashant Kishore crushed the pride and arrogance of the BJP in Bankipur, is a lesson that needs to be learnt. Remember, in Bankipur, Ravi Shankar Prasad, a senior BJP leader, had said that even if we field a dog or a cat in Bankipur, BJP will win. And the resounding defeat of the BJP in Bankipur, and they were not due to Gen Z votes alone, though that may have been a factor, but the fact that BJP's own grassroots supporters have voted vehemently against the BJP for Prashant Kishore. So this was basically a slap on the face of arrogance, and the same slap on the face of arrogance can be given to leaders in Goa who think they are above their party politics and the fact that they are rajas, kings and queens of their cluster of constituencies, and the people under them are just slaves and bonded labor, and they will vote for them nevertheless. Let them be warned that the aura has broken before and the aura can break even now. People belonging to so-called influential political families, even like the Alemaos, should understand very well that the Alemaos have been defeated in their backyard not once but twice. And this is not about anti-incumbency. There is a new India, there is a new group of people, new voters, people with different expectation, who are now beginning to understand that just a government job or some doles given to them or bills being paid, or people from different parts of India coming here, migrants especially, who are becoming new vote banks of these leaders, all of this is being resented heavily and will find a very strong political voice in the next elections. And this needs to be understood by the likes of Vishwajit Rane, by the likes of Babush Monserrate, and all that they represent, anybody else there. And Michael Lobo and Yuri Alemao are very much part of this, if they think that they cannot be defeated. Because Prashant Kishore in any way has a way of coming back in whatever he does. And the BJP will do very well not to underestimate not the Prashant Kishore factor, but what his victory in Bankipur and the Congress victory in Datia in Madhya Pradesh mean for parties and politicians who are arrogant. The PK effect will be felt. It will be felt as much in Panjim, as much in Valpoi, Calangute, Cuncolim, Poriye, which is part of the same cluster of constituencies, Shioli, Santa Cruz, Taleigao, everywhere. And the so-called heavyweights in the BJP and even in the Congress, who have held on to their seats for a long time, or even if they've held on to their seats for one term and their parents and others have held it earlier, they should get one very simple message. if a seat held by the national president of the BJP in Bihar, Bankipur, and by the BJP in general for 31 years can be lost within 7 months of the last election, can't Vishwajit Rane, Babush Monserrate, Michael Lobo or Yuri Alemao be sent home and into the political wilderness? What is so strange about thinking this can happen? What is so unbelievable about this? Why is it unbelievable? Because of the money power, because of the jobs they've given, because of the medical bills that they clear, because of the school fees that they clear of people, because of the marriage bills that they pay, because they feel that they have an aura which cannot be matched. And it is not just one seat. For Vishwajit Rane, he feels Valpoi and Poriye is a one cluster of seats, and that is his kingdom. As if it's one village panchayat and he's the lifelong sarpanch of that village. For Michael Lobo, Calangute, Shioli, and even the neighboring constituency of Saligao, he feels that is his kingdom. One must put a rider here though. Unlike the other people I've mentioned, Lobo has not enjoyed the fruits of governance as much as other people have had. So in that sense, Lobo is different, but he's still a regional satrap. As for Babush Monserrate, he feels Panjim, Taleigao and Santa Cruz are his own territory. It has got nothing to do with the BJP. And he decides not only who contests there, but who contests for which party. In the sense, if he decides that he's a BJP candidate, he will have 3 people under BJP contesting. If he feels he's an independent candidate, he'll have 3 independents contesting. But ultimately, it is Babush party that contests and not any other party. And again, in the Congress, there is a first-time MLA, Yuri Alemao, who feels that he has all kinds of powers, including monetary power, to make, Cuncolim his Valpoi and his Taleigao. And he feels that his party stamp in Cuncolim is a permanent stamp without realizing that his father himself has lost from Cuncolim. So to all of them and others, the PK effect and the Dantiya in Madhya Pradesh effect should send a strong warning of foreboding that political success is not a lifetime guarantee. And it is certainly not a lifetime guarantee without conditions. It should be a warning that voters are not bonded labor, and their control over people's lives and their families almost makes allegiance to them appear mandatory and non-negotiable, and that this aura will break. First it was the Vijay Thalapathy effect in Tamil Nadu. Then came this PK effect in Bankipur and the Congress effect in Dantiya. These are not isolated victories, they are a symbol of a trend. This is a young India asking, and similarly, a young Goa will also ask, who will speak for Goa first? Who will not speak about becoming chief minister or being a controlling MLA? Who will take it upon themselves in 2027 that this 2027 elections will not only merely decide which party wins, but whether Goa discovers its own political voice, whether the voice of the youth, voice of professionals, and those who truly belong to the land will protect it. This question will be asked. And if these questions become a movement, it could start in the constituencies where these self-appointed rulers think that they will remain kings and queens forever. As a highly successful Goa-based young technology professional said to me the other day, these people, he was referring to Vishwajit Rane, think they have an aura that nobody can break. As long as the aura is there, they feel that no force on earth can dare to challenge us. But that aura can be broken. It is like a thin eggshell. This is what this professional told me. This eggshell can be cracked. Even when you give jobs, even when you give opportunities, there are still people who have not got the jobs who will still be upset. And that is important. And there will still be a new generation of people who will ask questions, and they will not say, why didn't you give me a government job? They will ask, why didn't you create opportunities for wealth creation? Why didn't you bring in enough factories and manufacturing units to Goa for us to go and work there? And that is important. Why didn't you bring investments to Goa? Why didn't you improve the education system? Why didn't you improve skilling? All these questions will be asked even in those constituencies where you have the Rajas and the Prajas. But now the Prajas are changing. They will no longer want to be called Prajas. They'll behave as proper awakened voters who will treat the elected representative as a servant and not a master. Most importantly, no self-respecting Swabhimani Goan will want to be treated as a slave and a bonded labor by any MLA or anybody holding even ministerial rank. Voters are willing to back new entrants. They are fed up. Anti-incumbency has come in and is beginning to creep in. It will affect the BJP at the state level. Voters believe, and they seriously believe, that established parties have stopped listening to them. And it is not just only about the BJP, even the other opposition parties should know that it does not matter which political party they belong to. The voters will want only one thing. They want their progress and they want respect and dignity. And if they cannot do that, they will not vote for any party, whether it's in the opposition or in the ruling party, ruling dispensation. More importantly, the young people of Goa especially, and as well as people who are not so young, will now look at beyond caste and beyond religion to vote. Bankipur has shown this, Datia has shown this. They have understood that political parties play with their religious sentiments and try and divide votes. This communalization and the caste factor that is used to divide votes will not work to that extent this time, because people have seen through it that ultimately they are used as puppets by politicians. The BJP can no longer depend on their entirely, upper caste Hindu vote bank or even the traditional OBC votes. Both these vote banks will be cracked. So a generation that was outside the strategic calculations of the BJP and others is going to be the center of this electoral universe. Let the parties be warned. And the BJP has lost much of the support of a generation that wants change. There are voters in Valpoi, there are voters in Porie, Calangute, Panjim, Taleigao, Santa Cruz and Cuncolim, and also the other constituencies. I'm just mentioning the constituencies of these big political dadas, but there are others everywhere else also. And that includes Movin Gudino's Daboli. And I'll talk about him in a bit. These are the people who understand Gen Z. They stand with Gen Z and they stand with their pride and dignity. This movement has gone beyond the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan and is focused on the aspirations of the youth, and that is important. And this is what is important. In fact, what do these youth want? They want a level playing field, they want opportunities, and these opportunities have been denied as much in Patna as in Panjim. Now, let us look at another fact. Voters in Panjim, Taleigao, Santa Cruz and even in Movin Gudino's Dabolim feel that the votes of the actual local voters do not matter anymore. The demographics have changed with a massive influx of people from outside Goa who have come in. Even from outside India, and I'll tell you why. Look at the upsurge of Nepali voters in Panjim and Taleigao. These voters have been given Aadhaar cards, voting rights, and so on and so forth, and form a big part of the constituency in these areas. That is important. Karnataka and non-Goan voters have become the bhaks of Movin Gudino. His birthday celebrations, if you saw the videos of his birthday celebrations, it almost seemed as if they were taking place either in Punjab or Karnataka and not in Goa. And this is because the people whose votes Movin Gudino depends on are no longer authentic Goan votes. He is sent to the assembly not by Goans but from people from outside other states. And don't you think original Goans feel hurt about this? Don't you feel people who live in those areas feel left out about this, that they no longer matter? That is why Swabhimani and Goa-loving voters will at some point wonder, is the MLA for us? Do we belong? Do we matter? Will our voices be heard? And these voters also have children who are reaching voting age, and they will ask these questions. Goa does not have to look at Bihar or Madhya Pradesh or Tamil Nadu for any proof that political auras can be broken. Its own electoral history is full of examples of how invincible leaders can be defeated in Goa. In 1980, former Chief Minister Shashikala Kakodkar, who led the Maharashtravadi Gomantak party, after Dayanand Bandodkar was defeated in Bicholim by an independent candidate, Harish Dante. So this is important. Shashikala Kakodkar led the MGP after her father Dayanand Bandodkar. He was defeated in Bicholim by Harish Dante. That is important. Then came Margao in 1984. Babu Naik, Ananta Naik, better known as Babu Naik, who represented Margao continuously from 1967 and was a 5-time Congress MLA. He was obviously tipped to become the Chief Minister of Goa at that stage. At that point of time, Uday Bhembre defeated him by 1,357 votes, independent candidate. His stature and 5 previous victories could not save him. Margao found a credible alternative. Even Digambar Bab should know, if Babu Naik could be defeated in Margao, Digambar Kamat can also be defeated in Margao. In the same election, Willy de Souza, 1984, who would later become Chief Minister 3 times, lost Calangute as an independent to an MGP candidate, Shrikant Malik, by only 230 votes, but he lost. A man capable of shaping governments was stopped in his own constituency. Then we look at Francisco Sardina's defeat in Curtorim in 1994. Anton Gaonkar of the UGDP defeated this Congress heavyweight, then Congress heavyweight by 94 votes. Sardina would later become Chief Minister, he would become MP many times, but no statewide wave was needed to bring him down. Just a credible challenger got him. I remember old timers telling me that Sardina was so complacent that he felt he did not even have to campaign in Curtorim, and he was going to neighboring Shiragaon to help Subhash Shirodkar's campaign. And that time his wife did tell him to focus on his own constituency. He did not listen. He lost. Then we look at Willy de Souza again. Willy de Souza suffered the same fate, was taught the same lesson again in 2007, by which time he had become Chief Minister 3 times. He was also Deputy Chief Minister. He was one of the most experienced politician Goa has ever produced. Now, he was contesting Saligao on an NCP ticket. And that is the time he was defeated by Dilip Parulekar by 1957 votes. So, again, none of his history, none of his political success gave him this cushion against defeat. Now we look at the 2012 election. We are coming closer and closer. There one independent Avartan Furtado defeated the former Chief Minister of Goa, Churchill Alemao in Navelim by 2,145 votes. Churchill lost. In neighboring Cuncolim, Rajan Naik defeated Churchill's brother, Congress Minister Yuri Alemao, and of course the father of the current MLA Yuri Alemao by 1,313 votes. 2 constituencies rejected 2 members of one political family. The Congress got defeated because of Parivarvad. In the repeat of that Parivarvad, Yuri Alemao will contest from Cuncolim, and he says that is my backyard and I will contest. Nobody can defeat me. And his cousin Valanka Alemao is vying for the ticket in Navelim. The same Parivar Baad is returning again. Let them remember the ghosts of 2012. Then let us look at 2017. Laxmikant Parsekar as Goa's sitting chief minister lost. He is a three-time MLA, was a three-time MLA from Mandrem, he lost. Dayanand Sopte, the Congress candidate, defeated him by more than 7,000 votes. And we must understand that. Ministers Dayanand Mandrekar, Dilip Parulekar, they were also defeated in Bicholim and Saligao respectively. So all this tells you that heavyweights do lose. In 2022, both the BJP deputy chief ministers lost. Correct? BJP won the election. Digambar Kamat defeated Babu Asgaonkar from Margao, and a first-time Congress candidate Alton de Costa defeated Babu Kaulekar in Kepe. Of course, people gave a fitting reply to defectors. And AAP newcomer Wenzy Viegas again defeated Churchill Alemao. I mean, again meaning Churchill lost again, this time in Benaulim. Therefore, it shows that the record already answers whether Vishwajit Rane, Babush Monserrate, Michael Lobo, Yuri Alemao can be defeated or not. And others, I'm just mentioning the big heavyweights. Former and sitting chief ministers, deputy chief ministers, powerful ministers and powerful political families have fallen. These people are not gods. In Panjim, and let us now look at their personal kingdoms and how they have performed in the personal kingdoms. Babush Monserrate's aura is already visibly cracked. He won the 2019 by-election as a Congress candidate by 1,758 votes. After shifting to the BJP, he defeated the independent candidate Utpal Parikar by only 716 votes. 716 votes. Receiving only 39% of the votes polled. So this was not Babush's victory, it was Babush's mere survival. Mere survival. Of course, in the municipal elections, he won very well, 27 out of 30 seats, but that cannot account for the reversal in the assembly. Panjim came within a few hundred votes of defeating him in 2022. Let there be no mistake about it. Then look at Taleigao. Jennifer Monserrate, and with absolute respect towards the departed soul, her winning margin was 2855 votes in 2017 and 2041 votes in 2022. Not a big difference. In the last assembly election, she secured about 44% of the votes. And the BJP's lead, but importantly, the BJP's lead in the Taleigao segment in the Lok Sabha elections, 2024 Lok Sabha elections, was only 1,536 votes. So ultimately, none of these bastions are non-breachable. In the Lok Sabha elections also, while the BJP led in Panjim and Taleigao, in Santa Cruz, the BJP trailed. Of course, as far as Valpoi is concerned, Vishwajit Rane's victory is about 5,678 votes in 2017. And then in the by-election, he won by over 10,000 votes. He retained the seats in 2022 by more than 8,000 votes. All of this, as far as votes are concerned, yes, Vishwajit Rane has won by plenty of votes. But this time it's going to be all about aura and the new generation, new demographics and the new way of thinking of the young people who will not sit down with how many votes they got in the last election, but whether this particular candidate and his fifth term needs to be broken and a new Goa and a new India has to be created. And that is what is important. Of course, one will need a good candidate, one will need hard work, and one will need convincing the voters that this aura can be broken. Yuri also won a clear victory, but Yuri should understand that his family has been defeated in that constituency. And he won because the Congress wanted to punish a defector, which is why they voted for him. But at the end of the day, the same factors that work for all the other constituencies will also work for Cuncolim. They have removed the Alemaos before, they can remove the Alemaos again. Michael Lobo, of course, he won the 2022 assembly by-elections, and of course he thinks he can control Calangute, Shioli and other places, but we will have to see whether the ground realities of these constituencies have changed or not, whether young people in those constituencies are thinking differently or not, and whether the same PK factor and the factors that led to this kind of a change will apply in Calangute also. Nobody can take these places for granted, and that is important. See, because what is important is what they do not realize, that the old arrangement will change. The MLA found somebody a job, paid his medical bill, paid his the school fees for the children, settled a police matter, secured a contract, and these personal obligations remained a lifelong debt of gratitude that the people pay. But the young Goan will not follow this line. This generation is thinking beyond the next vacancy in GMC or the next permanent job in the Food and Drugs Department. It is asking why Goa has not developed a dignified economic system that gives you good, proper private employment. It will ask why there are no technology companies, serious universities and research institutions where good industries can be created and good industries can be fed due to education from these institutions. And also, let us look at this job issue. When a job is given, one family is happy, 5 families are unhappy. That unhappiness will find a vent somewhere. One medical bill will not answer why a healthcare system has failed. Paying one child's bill cannot answer why there has been no educational reform in Goa. A scooter, a television set during elections may influence one election, but can it give an entire generation a future? And this aura will crack when people stop approaching MLAs and begin asking collectively these questions. And that is what is important. The politician who claims credit for every job should also claim responsibility for every unemployment that happens there. And they must answer why citizens have to wait for government service because they don't have political access. Also, this generation will ask why families or why constituencies have to be organized as family territories. Why should Valpoi and Porie be treated as one political estate? Why should Panjim, Taleigao and Santa Cruz be under one family's sphere of control? Don't the voters in Panjim, and they are all educated voters coming from great families, properly educated. Why will they take this year after year, year after year, year after year? They have some self-respect. Why should Calangute, Shioli, Saligao be another individual's kingdom? Why are people in these constituencies behaving like subjects of a king? And they will not do that anymore. That is important. So the anxiety among Goans over land, over identity, over language, employment, demographics, migration will enter this election fray. People in Panjim, Santa Cruz, Daboli, all over the place, Cuncolim and other rapidly changing constituencies will ask whether their representatives still hear them, whether their children have a future in their own state and in their own constituencies, and whether the political system values them all the time or values them only when they need their votes. And remember, children are reaching voting age. They've also reached voting age. They may not be aligned to their parents' political liabilities, as the Gen Z have already shown. However, one must also understand that just public anger, social media outrage, speeches, all of this will not do that. Aura will crack only when the opposition has credible candidates, when it has serious organization, when it has unity. and they should remain on the ground when political pressure begins, and that also has to happen. People will not automatically vote for the opposition just because the aura is cracked. One must understand that. Because a heavyweight is defeated booth by booth. As Prashant Kishore showed, it is defeated family by family. It is defeated vote by vote. Anton Gaonkar defeated Sardinha by 94 votes. Imagine how hard he had to work. Shrikant Malik defeated Willy de Souza by 213 votes. Sorry, 230 votes. I stand corrected. Babush Monserrate survived Panjim by 716 votes. Clefaso Dias won in Cuncolim by 33 votes. It is only about a few hundred people who need to overcome fear and political obligations and vote independently, and that can change political equations in heavyweight constituencies. Goa has produced giant killers. Harish Sante defeated Shashikala Kakodkar. Uday Bhembre defeated Babu Naik. Anton Gaonkar defeated Francisco Sardinha. Avertan Furtado defeated Churchill Alemao. Dayanand Sopte defeated Laxmikant Parsekar. Alton de Costa defeated Babu Kaulekar. Venzi Viegas defeated Churchill Alemao. And there are so many other examples. Goa has produced these giant killers. Goa does not need to wait for Prashant Kishore to manufacture a giant killer. It has produced its own giant killers. Whenever voters have found the courage, candidate, and the circumstances to reject these rajas. Now, therefore, the question for 2027 is whether Gen Z Goa continues to live under these political auras or break them. Does it want an MLA who distributes opportunities or a government that creates opportunities? Does it want access to a politician, or does it want freedom from political process? Does it want constituencies inherited by families, or does it want people who are chosen on merit? Does it want temporary favors, or does the electorate want permanent institutions? And does it want Goans standing outside the homes of ministers with applications? Or do they want companies creating employment, creating research, and competing with the world? And this is why this aura that was described by this young technology professional may indeed be a thin shell, but the shell will not crack by itself. It will crack when an unemployed graduate refuses to compromise his dignity for a recommendation from a politician. It will crack when a businessman demands a level playing field instead of political protection. It will demand when a first-time voter is no longer afraid of a minister or a police officer or a contractor or a political agent. And then when voters stop asking what has a MLA given my family and begin asking what has this MLA done for Goa. Political history has already given the answer. No leader is permanent. No family owns the constituency. No voter is a bonded labor. And no assembly constituency is a hereditary property. And no aura is unbreakable. This is Bullseye. And I'm Shujai Gupta. Thank you.